Hey, it's your man, Doc Love, aka the Breakup Coach, relationship speaker, and relationship education advocate, back with the Why Is This So Challenging podcast. Now, today we have a special podcast for you, but before we get into our special guest that we have, I have to introduce my lovely wife and my beautiful co-host, Miss Lady Love. How are you doing today, Miss Lady Love?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, wonderful. As I said, we have a special guest today, and this is going to be a special podcast. I'm telling you, you are going to enjoy listening to this gentleman. I'm telling you, he is amazing, and he has an amazing story to tell. My man Conroy, how are you doing today?
Man, I'm blessed and highly favored to be on this podcast because I'm a subscriber, so I hope y'all are too.
Yeah.
But you know, to be able to share this space with you guys, man, I'm truly blessed and honored for real.
Wonderful, wonderful, man. We are so happy to have you here. And we're going to get right into this thing, y'all, because I'm telling you, he has a lot to say, and I promise you, y'all are going to want to hear all of it. So we're going to start off first by just asking you, brother, to just go into your story. Mm-hmm. You have a story of love and loss. So just give us some details about your story and when it comes to love and relationship and marriage. And we just want to dive off into it, brother.
All right, perfect. So I'm gonna try my best not to be long-winded. But you know, so for me, my situation is definitely dealing with loss. So now a year ago, I lost my wife Davina to a battle to breast cancer. It's, you know, something that she was battling for about 2.5 years before her passing. We found out June of 2022 that. You know, she was diagnosed with the breast cancer, and the crazy part is how she found out, right? We were just hanging out with one of my old teammates and his wife the weekend before, and they were telling us about Ray Donovan, the show.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And they're like, you guys you're gonna love it. You have to watch it. So I was like, okay. And we're typically late to the parties on all the good TV shows, right? So Davina was like, all right, I know that I'm probably gonna have to, you know, get you up to speed, but I'm gonna start watching it. I was like, that's fine. Like, I'm one of those that I don't care if someone tells me like what's going on, like it is what it is. But one particular episode, Ray Donovan's wife was taking a shower, and then she did one of those, you know, self-tests. And Davina was laying in the bed, and something told her to do the same thing.
Wow.
And we would typically talk throughout my workday, like that was our thing. No matter where I was working and what I was doing, I would always, you know, just be ready for a text message or a phone call. So when Davina called me this one particular June Wednesday, I'll never forget, I knew the moment I picked up the phone that something was different. Because she said, like, babe, I hope that you're not busy, but I really, really need you right now. I said, what happened? I just need you to come home. Say less. I go to my coworker. I said, hey, I don't know what's going on at home, but I have to leave right now.
Right.
He was like, listen, man, you know, you're always here. Get out of here. You know, go take care of Davina. And I'm racing home, and my mind is going all sorts of directions because I don't know what's going on, but I do feel that something heavy is happening. I walk into the apartment. My son he's like, wait, what are you doing home? Well, you know, when it's light outside. I was like, you know, I just came to check on y'all, right? Because I didn't want to alarm him, and I didn't know if, you know, Davina let him know anything. I get into the room, and just her demeanor, I'm like, let me prepare myself because I don't know what's up, right?
Right.
So then she starts to tell me the whole Ray Donovan thing. And she said, I just need confirmation that you feel the same thing I felt. And she knew in that moment that it was going to be heavy for me because my mom dealt with breast cancer.
Oh, wow.
My favorite aunt passed from breast cancer. So she knows the impact that cancer has had on special women in my life. Right? And the moment I felt that lump, like I literally felt all the blood just rush out of my body because I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Right? And we shared the same frustration because the day before, I got a phone call from my doctor at the time that I was dealing with a blood clot in my leg. And I finally got that phone call like, hey, you're not gonna be on Eliquis for too much longer.
Oh, good.
All of the procedures that we did is working and you're gonna get past this.
Right.
So we went from pure jubilation and excitement to this anvil dropped in our lap the next day.
Wow.
So like the biggest thing that hit me throughout the whole journey, Davina not once thought about herself.
Wow.
She was more concerned about me.
Wow.
And that, I already knew I had an amazing wife, and to me, the best wife that ever lived. That was my perception of her.
Exactly.
But that situation really put the stamp on that. Because no matter what she felt, no matter how she felt, she was more concerned about me than herself.
Wow.
And that level of selflessness in dealing with something like that, man, it was bittersweet because I'm like, why her?
Exactly.
Right? And I think when you have a family member, regardless of your relationship with them, or even just somebody that when you hear that they have cancer, I think that 3-letter question tends to come up often. Why?
Why?
Right?
Exactly.
And to never hear Davina ask that question for herself.
Wow.
She was just like, why is this happening to you?
Exactly.
Like,
wow.
How are you thinking about me when this thing is in your body?
Yes.
Right? And she just kept saying, she's like, babe, like you've dealt with so much, with so many people that's close to you. I feel like now I'm adding to your burden. I said, yo, this is crazy. And to even fast forward, November 1st, 2024 was like one of the last deep conversations that we had because she had just got out of ICU. She had like about, I would say a 16-day stint in ICU, got through that. And that morning she called me, she said, babe, can you do me a favor before you get here? I need you to go to the store and pick up X, Y, and Z that she wanted to have, because she was definitely giving the nutritionist and the doctors a hard time at the hospital because she's like, this is a place where folks come to get better.
Right.
But you don't have the nutritional stuff to make that happen. Right. So she was like, I'm not eating none of that.
Right.
So they're like, okay, what are you gonna eat? Don't worry, my husband will take care of it. She called me, hey, can you pick up these things? And for whatever reason, that still small voice is like, don't wait till the end of the day.
Right.
So as I got off my exit, instead of making the right to get to my job, I made a left. I went to the store, I picked up everything. As soon as I parked at my office, she called. She said, hey, I see that you just got to work, but I hate to do this to you, but the stuff that I told you that I need, is there any chance that you can go pick that stuff up and bring it to me as soon as possible? I said, I'm way ahead of you. She was like, what do you mean? I got it already.
Yeah.
She was like, what? Are you serious? I said, yeah, I went and stopped before getting here. That's why, I'm 20 minutes late.
Right.
And then I could almost feel her shaking her head, of just how happy and proud that she was of me being her husband to think ahead.
Yes.
Right? Because those are the things that she used to always commend me for, of thinking of the little things, right? And I remember I go in, I tell my assistant manager at the time, like, hey, I have to run to the hospital. And she's like, come on, Conroy, do your thing. Like, don't worry about us. I got it. Okay, cool. We get to her room and she's sitting up in bed. Mind you, she looked completely different from the night before in a good way.
Yeah.
So I walk in, I'm like, babe, you look amazing.
Yeah.
And she's like, I've been getting that all day. Was I that bad? I said, I tried to tell you last night. It was rough. But yes, things were really that rough for the last couple of weeks. But I'm so glad that you look the way that you look, right? Yeah. She began to pour into me something crazy. And I don't think I'll ever forget, that whole conversation, because At the time we walked in, she had her phone in her hand and she was on Instagram. And if I'm not mistaken, this was either her first or second anniversary post for us on her page. And she took her phone, she gave it to our son, and she said, read what I wrote about your dad. So now I'm standing at the side of the bed, he's reading, and like, she grabs my hand, she's holding my hand, and then she proceeded to let me know how proud she is of me, right? And within that conversation, you know, she got really, really serious. And she even propped herself up a little bit more. And she said, babe, here's one thing I want you to understand. For the last 15, 16 years that we've been together, everybody has been at the top of your list but you. She said, I know how you feel about me, and I've always been your number one person that you've cared about. Our son, number two. Your parents, your sister, your cousins, your employees. She was like, look how many people I listed, and you're not on that list.
Right.
And in that moment, the tears are just flowing. I don't even know why. But actually, no, I do know why, because she was telling the truth.
Right.
I would always be that one guy that I would put myself last for anybody, right? And she said, I want you to stop doing that. For one time in your life, I want you to focus on you.
Yes.
And the only thing I could do is just nod, yes. But I can't talk. I'm literally like this. I'm just looking down and I can just see the tears just hitting the ground, making a puddle.
Wow.
And, you know, she just kept like just pouring into all of the things that I've gone through with family members, within my own self, and just working through those things on my own, right? But also being her rock.
Exactly.
Because, and Michelle, you kind of mentioned this in our earlier conversation, that, you know, she was in that headspace, like, I don't know how I would have gotten through this without you.
Right.
Right? And I'm just standing there just, I'm a mess, right?
Wow.
But my heart was just filled with so much gratitude for her, not knowing that that was going to be the last Friday that we spent together.
Wow. So,
Man.
So tell me this, because I know in our conversation how glowingly you talked about how you all first met and what made this love affair so special. Please just give us a little bit, because I'm telling you, you all know this was a beautiful love affair. So just give us a little bit of how you all met and how everything just came about.
So it was, August of 2008.
Wow.
I was in limbo of what school to go to, because at this point I'm playing college basketball, and I was trying to decide, do I come back to Morehouse?
Okay.
Right? Or do I just go somewhere else? Right? And because August had already started, the clock kind of had struck, 12 o'clock, midnight.
So getting late?
Yeah. And I said, you know what? I would be doing myself and, Coach Brewer, rest his soul, I would be doing everybody a disservice if I was to show up, that late for school. And it just didn't work out, which was fine. So I go to a family reunion and I find out that, one of my older cousins on my dad's side is a coach.
Okay.
I'm like, everybody knew that I'm playing basketball. Why am I now finding out that my cousin is a coach? And he coached at a school in New York City. So long story short, family members made the connection happen.
Wow.
I spoke to him and he's like, you know what? I do have room, to bring you on. I said, all right, cool. As much as and I grew up in the islands, I'm not a fan of the hustle and bustle of New York, but I said, listen, if this is where I gotta be, this is where I gotta be.
Yeah.
And we're in the heart of Manhattan. Like we're right across the street from Madison Square Garden.
Oof. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's a lot.
Yes.
Right? And I do remember, school year started in September, and I was the type that I would go to class, and then jump on the train, because it's a 2-hour train ride to get to Brooklyn. I'm getting off at the second to last stop on the 2 train.
Yeah.
So I remember one of my teammates kept saying, Junior, you have to stay like at least a little bit. Like, come hang out with us, because the student lounge is like really, really fun. Because the director is like, she's always just making sure there's music playing, there's food for us. She takes care of the basketball team.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I'm not interested. Like, I'd rather just go home and chill. But there was one rainy day where I was in that mood of like, okay, I don't want to be cold. I don't want to be wet. Let me go downstairs and see what these guys are talking about.
Yeah.
And I walk in and I see Davina, right? Mind you, I'm a student. She works there. She's also 10 years older than me.
Wow.
When I found out.
Yeah.
But the respect level that is just innate in me, I kept it as that, of just like, okay, you know, she's cool. Obviously, she's beautiful, right?
Right.
But I didn't want to. Well, actually, being honest, that wasn't even in my mindset. It was just, let me see what the big, hoopla is about. And I started going down there more often, right? But the one day that we actually struck like a meaningful conversation was right after she started teaching me how to play spades, because I didn't know how to play spades. And she needed help kind of breaking down like the food, the tables, the DJ stuff or whatever. And everybody had class, but at that point in time, I had no classes for the rest of the day.
Okay.
So I helped her break everything down. And then she looked at me, she was like, come in my office, let's finish our conversation from earlier. I walk into her office and like, let's say, I'm walking in the door this way. On her wall next to her other door was what I, at the time, called the collage, but it was her vision board.
Okay.
And the first thing that caught my eye was she had some beaches on there. So for me, seeing crystal clear water is what I'm accustomed to. Right? And I said, oh, where's this? Because this kind of looks like Bora Bora. Right. And she was like, it is. Why did you know that?
Yeah.
I said, that's a bucket list place that I would definitely love to go. Yeah. And then I started pointing out a few other things. But what got our conversation really deep, there was 2 gentlemen on the board as well. First person was Al Horford, who at the time had just got drafted like a couple years prior to the Atlanta Hawks. And Willie Parker was the starting running back on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay. Him, I didn't know too much because I wasn't a big NFL person at the time. Yeah. I said, I know him, but who's this guy?
Right.
Oh, either one of them is going to be my future husband. I said, okay, that's interesting. But my response is what blew her away. Because I said, what is your game plan to get them? Right. And that's exactly what she did. Because she gave me like that puzzle look like, why are you not asking the dumb questions that everybody else asks, right?
Right.
And she's like, I don't know. Like, I go to All-Star Weekend, I do this. So she's telling me like all of these different spaces. She was an event planner. She was also into the fashion industry heavy. Okay. So she used to dress the models for all of the New York fashion shows. Okay. Right? So she has shared the space with a lot of famous people already. Right? So I said, you're gonna have to find a way to stand out to those guys because you gotta imagine that you're not the only person that is thinking the same way.
Right.
She's like, you know what? I gotta keep you around, right? And that's really what started everything, right?
Wow.
We just had like meaningful life conversations.
Wow.
So at that point, she gave me her number. So again, from faculty to student, I'm like, what is happening here? This is kind of crazy. And I didn't know how to take it at first, right?
Right.
And the first time that she called me, like when she got home, because she lived in Jersey, which is wild that I stayed in the city. Yeah. But she got home in a half an hour. It takes me 2 hours to get home.
Wow.
And she also has to take a train too.
Yeah.
So like she would be already dinnered up, showered, in bed by the time I get home. Right? But then we would be on the phone for 2-3 hours.
Wow.
and we're talking about anything and everything, but it wasn't fluff conversation.
Right,
Yeah.
right. What was it that you loved about her? Like, what was the...
Comfort.
Yeah.
She made me comfortable to talk to her about anything. And it was almost immediately. Like I had, and I think it's because of the natural respect factor, right? But also, neither one of us pursued each other based off of looks. It wasn't anything physical. It was more of a spiritual and mental stimulation that we got from one another.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I think that is what our foundation always was.
Right.
That we were friends, best friends, before we became lovers.
Right.
Right? So to experience that, and I think even now when I speak to single folks or even married couples, like that's the number one thing I always kind of push them towards. Strengthen your friendship with one another.
Yes.
Because when you have that friendship, I can't really think of the things that is going to come in and break that up.
Yes. Definitely.
Because that foundation is something, in my opinion, and I'm going off of my experience, it's very, very hard to shake that or break that.
Right.
Definitely.
Wow.
Definitely. Awesome.
That's amazing.
Awesome. So you all were together and I know
24/7.
there was a part in the story that you told me. I just want you to kind of go through that as
Yep,
well.
yep.
When you talked about you had a decision to make as far as what school you wanted to go to, but now you all were, actually being a
that
couple.
item. Yep.
Yeah. So if you could just go into the decision you had to make and how everything panned out.
So the decision was really tough, but it wasn't, right? Because at the time, this was a hot topic in our relationship. She's like, listen, I got you by 10 years. You're a tall, handsome basketball player. There's no way I'm doing the long distance relationship with you, right? And I know that you're different. I know you're going to tell me all of these things, but women are going to pursue you. So I'm not about to waste my time, right? On my end, I'm like, I'm not trying to lose her.
Right.
Like, I am willing to do whatever I can do to show her how much she means to me.
Wow.
So at the time, I had a school in South Carolina, North Carolina, and Tennessee. We're in New York City. Well, technically Jersey when we're having these conversations. I'm like, there has to be a school out there somewhere in this vicinity that can come through and save a brother. Right? Lo and behold, there was one day and we're winding down towards the end of the school year, season's over. This was like the end of March. We had already lost in our tournament, our conference tournament. And I go to my cousin's office and then I hear like a roar of conversation. So I knew that it was probably a bunch of my teammates about to come into his office. So I get up, I was sitting in front of him. I then go sit on his like banister area behind him. And using my great eyesight, I look at his computer screen and I just see my name in the subject of an email. So I tap him, I'm like, yo, coach, what is that? And he was like, what's what? I said, I see my name right there. Like, what's that? Click on that. So he clicked on it and he was like, oh, it's a coach that is reaching out because he's interested in you and, one of my other teammates. I said, what's the name of the school? He said, Bloomfield College. I said, where is that? And he's looking, he's like, it doesn't have an address. And something said, go get clarity downstairs. I run downstairs. I said, babe, have you ever heard of Bloomfield College? She was like, yeah, and she's like brushing it off, but I'm like, where is this school? She was like, why are you acting so weird? Where is this school?
Right.
She was like, it's like 10 minutes from me.
Wow.
I said, what? Hold that thought. I ran back upstairs. I said, what does that man need me to do? He said, there's a showcase in New Jersey on Sunday. Reply back and tell him I'll be there.
Wow.
And he was like, you gonna go to Jersey? How you gonna get there? Don't worry about that. Tell him I'm going to be there. I run back downstairs. I said, hey, I know I was just over by you last weekend because I was doing every other weekend that I'll go hang out in Jersey with her. So I know we just spent last weekend together. I gotta come by this weekend because I have a showcase to go play in. She was like, wait, what? And so now she's so lost, right? Because I'm overly excited, but also on a mission, right? So she was like, can you just slow down and tell me what's going on? I said, the coach from Bloomfield College wants to see me in the showcase on Sunday, and I have to be there. She was like, stop playing with me. I said, does it look like I'm joking right now, right? Like we were having, like, that was probably one of our first like intense conversations because there was no smiling involved with neither one of us, right? But I really wanted her to understand like how passionate I was about staying close to her or even with her, right? And man, I could tell you, I could replay everything in the moment. When I noticed that the Bloomfield coach showed up in the gym, I was just getting ready to play in my third showcase game. The moment I saw that white shirt and bald head and light skinned man walk under that basket, in my mind, I'm like, it's on. I have to figure out what can I do to stand out? Because I know that this man wants a rebounder and a defender, and that's my specialty. First play of the game, I win the jump ball. The guy that I tapped the ball to, mind you, before the game even started, I said, yo, watching this other guy, he's a very good on ball defender. Do not waste dribbles with him. What does he do? Waste dribbles. He gets stolen at half court. Mind you, it's 3 seconds off the clock at this point. And I look, he steals the ball, and now he's, going in for a layup. And something just told me, go get that. And I took off from half court. The guy was kind of showboating a little bit before he went up to take the layup. At that point, it was too late. I was already airborne, ready to block it. I blocked it with 2 hands. Everybody heard that in the gym because you just hear this, whoa! In that moment, I just looked under the rim. I saw that the coach saw that. Cool. I took off. Like right after that, I had another crazy block because there was a guy shooting a 3-pointer. Again, I ran out there, got fingertips on it. I see the crowd going crazy. I look at him. He saw it. All right. And then, the rest of the game, I don't even remember if I scored. I didn't even care. I wanted to do what that man said he needed. Right? The game is over. I didn't even go to shake hands. I turned right around and I V-line straight for him. And he said, are you Conroy? Yes, I am. You're Coach Holmes? Yes, sir. He said, I like what I saw. I said, really now? I said, what would it take for me to come to Bloomfield College? He said, you give me your phone number and your email and, we'll be in contact because, you're someone that I feel that can help my team. I went and grabbed my bag. Mind you, I still had 2 other games to play in. I went and grabbed my stuff. I took my sneakers on. Everybody, Conroy, you got to go on this other court. I said, y'all can have that. I got what I wanted. Davina was so nervous, she didn't even watch that game because when she saw the coach, she went outside and sat in the car.
Oh, wow.
So she sees me with my stuff. She was like, did you get hurt? What happened? I said, we could go. What do you mean we can? You have time. I said, we can go. What I came to do has been completed. We can go. She said, did you talk to the coach? I sure did. And he was happy with what he saw. So he's going to shoot me an email or give me a call sometime this week. And we both sat in the car in complete silence, right? Because for me, it was me being proud of myself because I knew what I wanted and it wasn't basketball. It was to be with her.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
Right? And for her, she's like relieved because now she doesn't have to think about one, losing me, number 2, contemplating entertaining a long distance relationship because she has never had someone take care of her the way that I did.
Wow.
Awesome.
So we had to sit in that for a moment and just enjoy it and just know like life is about to get so much better because we now no longer have this black cloud over our relationship.
Wonderful.
And
wonderful.
so what happened with the relationship? Did it quickly progress from that point, or like what did that look like?
So she couldn't believe that at this point I'm about to turn 24, 24, 25, somewhere in that range. No. I was about to turn 24. She couldn't believe that I was that intentional about wanting to be married. So there was a lot of times where I felt like she was even trying to talk me out of our relationship because she's like, I really want you to experience life, like live, go out there, travel, do all of these things, probably experience dating other women. Like,
Nah.
that's not my cup of tea. I'm not interested in that. Right? Because I know what I want and I know who I want, and that's you.
Awesome.